I don't think he'll mind if you walk in front of his camera.
Put it in, turn it in.
And turn the deal?
Yep, please take your hand away.
Home computer owners pay more for phone service than those without computers. And with the current reorganization of the Bell system, computer enthusiasts are worried about future rates. And since only those who declare their computers are charged, there is also a concern about honesty.
The big problem today is only the honest people are getting charged. I think that everyone should be charged equally.
But Bell is looking ahead, and eventually the rate system will change.
Whether it be telephone sets, PBXs, key equipment, or computers, we're not going to know. And therefore, the amount of usage that goes out over a customer's access line, usage will be usage. And I think from that standpoint, computers will be no different than anything else.
Measured service will begin sometime after the 1st of next year when the court-ordered split within the phone company occurs. Dan Slocum, Action 4.
For the home.
I got some patients walking too.
Dispel a lot of misconception about what epilepsy is, because see, I have epilepsy, and just to show you that, it's not all that bad. So open up people's hearts, not their pocketbooks or anything, just to get them to try and understand, those who are not too knowledgeable about it. So now they can, more or less, by seeing what I'm doing, know that they can do more or less the same thing. They can keep on striving on and keep on going. 3 years.
For the last few weeks, Oklahoma wheat farmers have been waiting and wondering when they could bring their crop in. But with an eye to the sky, this weekend the harvest has begun. Wet weather in Oklahoma has delayed the harvest more than 2 weeks, and many farmers are still fighting soft ground from this week's rains. Kenneth Mock and his family have never started to harvest their 500 acres later than June 10th. That was before this year. And high humidity and some soggy conditions are making them wait until early afternoon before the cutting of their wheat can begin. For a couple of years now, many Oklahoma farmers haven't made a profit on what they produce. And now this year, as they take their crop to the market, they are again not happy with the price they're getting.
Sorry, looking real bad. Real bad.
Worse than last year?
I don't remember what it was last harvest, but yeah, I'd say it was. It's not too good at all. Needs to go up.
But at least the weather has now cooperated enough to get the grain to market. At the Banner Co-op near Yukon, 140 loads came in between late afternoon and dark yesterday, and that much or more was expected today. There's no doubt the weather has been one of the farmers' worst enemies for this summer wheat harvest. Farmers say they could use 3 or 4 more good days in a row like today, clear and dry. But unfortunately, even if they get it, it may not help out much financially when they take their wheat to the market. Jeff Fowler, Action 4 near Yukon.
the governor asked us to recall the bill.
One of the
and
first
make some
orders of
changes,
House business for a hectic last week of session was a message from the Speaker. Draper told lawmakers he wanted to discuss what had happened since they had adjourned on Thursday. Late Thursday, a federal grand jury indicted Draper on charges of voting fraud. Draper said he's the victim of political persecution, and he hopes legislators will support him while he proves his innocence in court. He told them he had considered taking a leave of absence until the question is resolved to help things run more smoothly, but he scrapped that idea as impractical.
It seems to me, and it has been my personal decision, to continue to perform the duties of Speaker that you have elected me to, and I hope that you will respect that decision. Under our system of government, a person is innocent until he is proven guilty. And I personally have no question of what the outcome of the situation in Muskogee will ultimately be.
The House members' response to Draper's address was polite, but not enthusiastic. Not everyone likes the notion of Dan Draper remaining Speaker. Already, the House Republicans have suggested that Draper should step down. In the game of politics, that was expected. Charles Schnitzer, Action 4, at the state capitol.
Where the idea for the ordinance came was not so much with regard to drinking driving as it was the hearings that we had with regard to public nuisances, where people were so concerned about the amount of problems that were being created by carry-out situations, where the litter, the outside activities were going on as a result of people carrying alcohol out of the clubs and bars.
It's called an old-fashioned room raising. With pioneer spirit, volunteers from Shreveport, Louisiana have traveled to Oklahoma City to help build part of the Alpha Baptist Chapel of the Deaf. The free labor is a service of the Shreveport First Baptist Church, and organizers with the group say deaf ministry is a cause worth working for.
There is no pay involved. All of these are volunteers. We brought 38 volunteers from our church. Many of these people are taking a week's vacation time to be a part of this mission venture with this church. We simply have come out of our desire to help them and to extend their ministries, especially for deaf people in the Oklahoma City area.
The project is sponsored by the Southern Baptist Mission Board. This structure should be complete in 2 to 3 weeks. Then volunteers will move on to another location in the state. Deaf ministry in Oklahoma City is growing. And if you're interested or know somebody who is, call 634-0059 or 685-3388. Kevin Ogle, Action 4.
The 3-day-old trial of 28-year-old pilot Gary Rawlings took an emotional turn today as prosecutors called Rawlings' mother to the stand. She testified that on May 27th, one day after Sally Rawlings disappeared, she picked her son up at a Denver airport with his 2-year-old daughter. She then told the jury that when she arrived home and opened her son's suitcase, she found a gun inside. District Attorney Bob Macy then asked her what her thoughts were when she saw the gun. Ms. Rawlings replied, quote, "I knew something was wrong. I was scared." Then Macy asked her, quote, "When you saw the gun, you were afraid for Sally's welfare?" Answer, basically yes. It was Mrs. Rawlings and her daughter who first notified the police about the case. But when cross-examined by defense attorneys, Ms. Rawlings said she believed she had gotten a call from Sally Rawlings more than a month and a half after she disappeared. She then outlined what she described as Sally's bizarre behavior and testified that Sally Rawlings had made visits to 2 mental health facilities. But neither the prosecution nor the defense asked her if she thought her son had killed his ex-wife.
Several young men and women came to the Myriad today to fill out college admission forms. They want to go to a school where clowning around is a way of life because the instructors themselves are clowns. This is audition time for Clown College. Those admitted to the school will spend 10 weeks in Florida, perfecting the art of making people laugh. Boss clown Wayne Sitley is in charge of the auditions for the greatest show on earth. 17-year-old Jeff Tavagia drove all the way from Chicago to audition. For Jeff, being a professional clown is a lifelong dream.
There's just something about it. Ever since, I first came, I came when I was about 7 years old, and I saw the clowns, and I read in the program about the clown college, and that's always what I wanted to do. And there was nothing that was going to get in my way and stop me. It's just the feeling you get, from knowing that you did something that made somebody laugh and made you do something, that you were able to do something to make people feel better in a life where all you read in the papers is about bad things and stuff like that. You're able to make people forget about all that and smile and laugh and be happy. And when you get those laughs, it's really a great feeling.
From all indications, it looks like Jeff has a better than average chance of being accepted to Clown College. Only a fraction of aspiring funksters are accepted each semester. Now, some people may consider their job a joke, but not the professional clown. These hopeful young entertainers have but one goal in mind: to be a good enough clown that others will look up to. Ed Stewart, Action 4 at the Myriad.
Basically, I didn't make them. I never saw a pair aside from that. And I taught myself how to walk.
Hello. Oh, the firing battery is all set up here. Good, good. Well, I might make just a couple of opening comments on two things that are pending. One, the budget, and the other, the legislative veto. What most concerns me about the legislative veto decision by the Supreme Court is it opens the way for non-elected bureaucrats in the various agencies of the federal government to impose their rules and regulations with the force of law, and Congress, the elected representatives of the people, would not be able to do anything about it. I feel very strongly that non-elected bureaucrats should not be making the laws that the people live under. Those laws ought to be made by people elected by the people and accountable to them so that the citizens can remove them with the ballot if they don't like the laws that are being made.
Could have been worse, could have been better. I'm not really happy with it. I figured the job that I did out there was worth more than what they was paying me before. But, it's just different people doing different jobs. Some of them figured their job was worth more than what they was getting paid, and some, might not have figured it was. That's just where I go.
Feel like union let you down?
A summary of what would. We will also be going through the book that you hire that person brand new if that listed in this budget. When you get to the point to where you'll see who would give and who wouldn't give and what would be. At the end of each year, within any budget of the size that we're looking at here, there are funds that are not really used up before June 30th. So what we've attempted to do, and I'm sure what you'll attempt to do in the future years, is to try to stock the storeroom each year in the month of June with whatever funds that's available that you can pull together. On some supplies, but with a 60 to 90 day, quite often turnaround time from the time we place an order till the material arrives here in carload or truckload lots, especially paper, fine paper, we do have some delays. We don't like it, but we do have. But we have stocked the warehouse in this time of year.
Oklahoma and wheat are synonymous. The golden grain is the state's #1 cash crop. And this time of year, all eyes of the Oklahoma ag community turn toward the wheat fields. But this year's harvest will be a bit different from the last few. The reason is an increase in a pesky problem known as cheatweed. Cheatweed is native to this area, and it infests Oklahoma wheat fields. This year, the weed is heavier because of weather conditions, and there is a chance the presence of the weed will trim the Oklahoma wheat production by as much as 10%. Cheatweed has been around as long as wheat itself, and chances are good it will continue to present farmers with trouble until an effective herbicide can be developed.
Far back as I can remember, farmers have worried about cheat in wheat, and they've followed such tillage practices as they could to try to control it, but sometimes hasn't been very effective. If they ever get a chemical that will control cheat in all varieties of wheat, that'll be a great boon to the farmer.
The effect of the weed is felt at the grain elevator. The crop is tested and farmers are docked in pay according to the amount of weed found in with the grain. And this year, some farmers will lose up to 30% of their profit.
Cuts it way down. Yeah, it always docks your, cuts your weight way down on your wheat.
This year's wheat crop is marginal at best, and with the increase in the cheatweed problem, it means more headaches for the ag industry. Kevin Ogle, Action 4.
I think that the kind of flooding we've had also was controlled because of the drainage ordinance that we adopted a couple of years ago, and we've restricted development and we've controlled development with holding ponds so that the runoff was not as bad. I would say, and if you look at it, if we had had the same kind of development going on we had 3 or 4 years ago, we'd have had a lot more flooding and probably even a lot more property damage than we had this time.
they had dark hair.
First, to see what breaches of policy might occur, if any did occur, and to see what weaknesses might occur in the policies. If we do find anything that we feel was a breakdown, either in the procedure or needs to be changed, we will do that at that point in time.
Good morning.
We'll have officers in both on the water and at the shorelines and the docks, checking randomly to ensure that everything is operating as it should be.
It appears that there was a paperwork mix-up in Kansas City, and they did not get the paperwork out for the state of Oklahoma. Therefore, there was no wheat transferred to any of the local elevators. I have been told that it could be Tuesday or Wednesday, but I have not even been promised a day. No one would even give me a date that they could promise that we could come over and pick up our certificates. They all tell me if you don't get it by Tuesday or Wednesday, call us back.
You scared, worried, mad?
All of the above, yes.
What attracted us to this property was not the return on the money on the investment, but the people here, and also people like Minnie Pearl and Roy Acuff and all the hee-haw gang. We weren't supposed to mention the price on this thing when I told to my wife Thelma, and she said, "That leaves me speechless." And I said, "I guess it was worth it."
We are great on tradition at this place, and we know and hope and know that Mr. Gaylord will keep things as they are. We hope he will. And we're certainly happy about this sale. It's just wonderful. Thank you so much.
You know, Bud, I had started...
We went to a 4th of July picnic where we were sure to find patriotic Americans out to celebrate their country's birthday. But maybe our country is like a number of women, in that it is better not to ask your age.
76, 86. Oh, good grief. Isn't that terrible? I can't even think.
And I couldn't subtract quickly enough to take 76. 108.
107.
207.
207. Yeah.
86. 100. 201.
I don't know.
I can't.
It's 2001.
I keep forgetting. I don't know.
1776.
83.
2003.
1983. How's your math?
Very poor.
205. Is that close enough? Give or take 10?
Come on. I'm not thinking. I don't know.
Wait. How much is it?
107. 207. Okay, that's it.
That's right, 207. Bella Shaw, Action 4.
I think he's given NEA a bum rap. NEA is not totally in opposition to merit pay, but it will consider that as a concept to help improve public education. We haven't closed the door on it, but what we want to see is a workable plan.